Well, hi there. It is Wednesday, the 27th of May, Journal 345, T+422. As I just finished writing, there are some posts that you have to really think about and struggle to communicate clearly and concisely, and there are others that just seem to write themselves. This is one of those that took over. And it's an important subject. I think it's so important that I'll probably wind up writing a column for the trade publication I write for, Ratchet and Wrench, because I feel it's so appropriate for this particular moment in time in a pandemic COVID-19 world. And it has to do with the minimal or minimum viable audience that you need to sustain your product or service. It's really all about getting more from less. And I'll try to explain that as best I can. But I think it's really important, especially if you're in business or you know somebody that's in business. And maybe it's even important if you're a client, if you're a customer. So what exactly does that mean? What is the minimum viable audience that you require? Well, it suggests the antithesis of mass marketing. Instead of trying to grow your market share, instead of trying to get the greatest number of people to take advantage of your goods and services, this is all about finding the smallest group of true believers in who you are and what you do, who are able to support your efforts. And I know a little bit about this, not only from having been in business as long as I was, but because I'm a firm believer in the Pareto principle and the 80-20 rule, and the fact that 80% of all of your clients are responsible for only a part of your revenue, while 20% of your clients are responsible for the great bulk or the majority of your revenue, or certainly the great majority of your profit. So it really is all about focusing on that 20%. And, as Seth Godin would so aptly put it, people like you. And I'll give you an example of that. I mean, everybody wants a bestseller. Everybody wants to write a book, and they want that book to take off and sell tens of thousands of copies, if not more. Nobody would argue with that. It would be a true gift. But it would be a gift not because of the number of people that you reached and the money that it generated. It would be a gift because of the number of people you reached and the difference that you could make in the world with the message that you had to share. Instead of that, however, there are people who believe with a perfect faith that the smart money is on finding people who think and act like you, people like you, who will respond to that message and for whom that message will resonate. Get the book out to them, have them read it and enjoy it, and then spread the message out, growing that circle larger and larger and larger until quite possibly you wind up with the same number of people you would have had. Otherwise, the only difference is the people that you have will be willing and voluntary participants in that marketing growth. This is incredibly more important today than it's been in the past, in my opinion. And you can go back online and you can look up minimum viable audience. Seth Godin wrote about it in a blog post in 2017. He wrote about it again in 2019. But in a pandemic world, in the world in which we live right now, it's even more critical because whether you realize it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, you're living in a minimal viable audience world right now. It's a world in which restaurant diners in dining experience restaurant goers are going to recognize that only 25% of occupancy is possible based upon the pandemic. So, you're right back at that 80-20 rule and that minimum viable audience. Can that 25% sustain you? What do you need to do in order to go ahead and make that happen? How do you create an experience that's so powerful and so positive and so welcoming that people want to return and want to spend perhaps a couple of extra dollars for that experience, recognizing that you've only got a certain amount of square footage and that brings with it a certain cost, and that cost has to be justified in some way by revenue. How do you keep theater alive when every third seat will be filled and the communal experience of enjoying that live theater is almost lost because people are sitting there isolated? And there are so many other examples. I mean, salons, barbershops, sports events. How do you go ahead and recognize what it is and who it is you need to sustain your business at the minimum level, so that the only thing that you have to worry about from that point forward, once you're sure that you're able to do that, is growing that volume so that you not only survive, but you find success. In a really odd way, it goes back to my dad's, admonition to find your 3 o'clock in the morning friends. That's the minimum viable audience for friendship, I guess. The people that'll come and bail you out at 3 o'clock in the morning. The people that won't ask where you are or what you did. They'll just try and find out where you are so they can come and help you. In any case, it's something to think about. While you're thinking about that, stay well, stay focused, stay safe, stay home, and take care.